Hello everyone, welcome to day 3 of our HP Quickstart training class. This is day 3 of 5. My name is Rhett Scott with hpCommerce Software. Today's topic will be working with vendors, purchasing, purchase advice, and automated reordering. Purchasing. Let's talk about strategy first. The strategy for purchasing is very simple. You determine what you need, you create a purchase order, you send it to your supplier, and then you receive the items when they come into you. Along the way, you can print out purchase order confirmations in order to prompt your supplier to update you on the status of your orders. You can do pre-work in the form of printing out labels in advance for products. But the strategy is very, very simple, and we're going to touch on each of these areas in today's class. Let's hop back over to HP and exit back out to the main menu. The purchasing menu is located on the submodule menu, so go into M for submodule menu and then S for purchase order module. We're going to go in and pull up an existing purchase order. We'll go into Purchase Order, Entry, Edit, and View, which is option A. And then you can look at existing purchase orders by going into F3 Open POs down in your dashboard. These are purchase orders that are currently open in the system. I want to talk about the status column first. A purchase order can have multiple statuses. The first status is a pending order. A pending order is one that has not been processed and sent to the vendor. When you create a PO, we'll see that there is an option that you use in order to mark a PO as having been processed. That tells HP and yourself that this purchase order has been sent to the vendor. Until that time, it's considered to be a pending order. Once the order has been marked as processed, then it moves into a status of not here yet. It will stay in that status until at least one piece of the purchase order has been received. Its status will change to being partially received, that the order, some items on the order has started to flow in. So the status column at any point in time will give you an update as to what's going on with an order. Let's go into one of these pending orders. When you open up an existing purchase order, the first screen you're going to see is the purchase order items screen. This is a list of all of the items that are on the purchase order. But I want to start back at the header screen. In order to get down to the header screen, we need to look at our dashboard, and we can see we can go to F5 header page. There's a couple items I want to point out to you here. One is drop shipping. You can indicate that a purchase order is to be drop shipped by selecting the drop ship flag and changing it to yes. In that case, the vendor will ship the order to wherever you've specified the ship to be. You can specify different ship tos by either typing them in or by using F1 ship to, a list of customers that you can query in order to locate the shipping address that you want to ship to. You can select any shipping address, and then that will become the shipping address for the order. You'll notice that the notes that we created today on the MotorState account are now appearing down in the vendor memo area. On the purchase order items screen, you can see all of the items that are on the order. I want to point out a few items on the dashboard. One is the process purchase order option. This is what we talked about in order to change an order from being in the status of an unprocessed order to a processed order, meaning it's not here yet. You've indicated to the system that it has been sent to the vendor. So as a last step on preparing a purchase order, you would want to select the F2 process the purchase order. Until you select this option, the purchase order cannot be received. I also want to point out that you can quickly hop into item maintenance for any item that you have selected. You can highlight the item and then select Show Item Maintenance, and it will open up the part number maintenance form that we were working with in our last class. You can make changes from here and then exit back to the purchase order that you were working on. Scan mode. You can scan items onto a purchase order. If you have an item that you're holding in your hand and it has a barcode on it, you can go into scan mode and you can scan that item right onto the purchase order. If you're holding multiple items in your hand, you can just start scanning them into the scan mode box, and then they will appear on the order for you. You can then go back and edit the items if you want to adjust the quantity ordered. You can go back and edit them. If you have a book like you sometimes see in the big box store that is just a ring binder that have lots of barcodes on them for products, you can scan barcodes right off of a ring binder like that. And then finally, I want to talk about kits for a moment. You can put kits onto a purchase order. A kit is an item that's composed of many different components that are in your inventory. In order to quickly order the components that you may use to build up a kit, you can put the kit onto a purchase order, and then the individual items will be on there to be ordered from your vendor, and you can then receive either the kits as a whole or individual components. You can also use a kit as a way of quickly getting a long list of items onto an order, and then you can unbundle the kit, meaning you can delete the kit header, and then all of the individual components will still be left on the order just as individual items. I do want to circle back around to drop shipping for just a moment to point out that if you are in a situation where you're drop shipping items, it's very important that you mark the purchase order as being a drop ship purchase order, so that when those items are then received into your inventory, they do not increase the inventory on hand. If you mark it as drop ship, it will indicate that those items were properly processed by your vendor when you receive them, but it will not increase your on-hand inventory. So it's very important to update the order properly if it is a drop ship piece.